Hello everyone, thank you for watching. John here again, and this message is going to be for Trinitarians. I was thinking the other day about nonsense that Trinitarians say, and Matthew 24:36 came to mind, where it says, "But of that day and hour no one knows, not even the angels of heaven, nor the Son, but the Father alone." And of course, the Trinitarians are quick to say, well, that was the man Jesus. He just didn't know that he's God, or that he had a God side, and that's the explanation for this. Now, let's put to the side the fact that that's unbiblical. This happened afterwards, okay? This doctrine of the dual nature of Christ. And why? Because of this verse. Verses like this where, wait a minute, something's wrong here. How can Jesus be God when he's saying this? So instead of, you realize there's a problem, but instead of realizing that one of the solutions to your problem is that you're wrong, Jesus is not God, you said, nope, I know Jesus is God. So how can I keep believing Jesus is God and understand this verse? And then somebody came up with the brilliant idea, well, that was the man Jesus, and he just didn't have that knowledge. So let's put that to the side, the fact that it's unbiblical. Let's look at the fact that it's nonsense. And this is why it's nonsense. Even if you're right, let's just, for fun's sake, say that Jesus just had an amnesic moment. At this moment, he doesn't know that he's God. He should still identify the right God. He should still have a triune God. He should still be a trinitarian. Here he's not. The only one with divine knowledge, according to Jesus in Matthew 24:36, is the Father alone. See, I would expect this amnesic Jesus, who has a triune God, to say, but of that day and hour no one knows, not even the angels of heaven, but the Father, Son, and Spirit alone. See, you still have your amnesic Jesus that is just a man. He doesn't have full knowledge, right? But he should still identify the right God, if God is triune. You see why it's nonsense? Let me put it to you simply, and I know this is fictitious, but if Clark Kent has an amnesic moment and he doesn't realize he's Superman, I would still expect the bad guys show up for Clark to say, don't worry, Superman will save us. See? Because just because he doesn't realize he's Superman doesn't mean that he doesn't understand there's this character Superman out there that goes around saving people. So again, please, apply that to this scripture. Just because Jesus is unaware that he is God doesn't mean that his God should then be the Father alone. But there's an alternative, one that actually goes with scripture, and you don't have to make up unbiblical things like a dual nature of Christ. And that is, he didn't mention the Spirit because the Spirit is not a third member of a triune God. He didn't include himself because he is not God. And he said the Father alone knows this divine knowledge because the Father alone is the only one who is true God, as he said in another scripture. Why can't you just believe Jesus? But what really upsets me is this, is it's not so much that you believe the nonsense, but there's going to be an immature new Christian who comes up to you and he's going to ask you, why does Jesus say this if he's God? And you're going to give him that nonsense about the dual nature of Christ. And that's really what upsets me. When Jesus talks about the seeds, the 3 different seeds that are planted, that new Christian is trying to plant his seeds deeper in the soil, and you are the one, when it talks about Satan coming up and picking up the seeds before they can be rooted, you're the one. Satan's using you to teach this young Christian something that is not true, to worship a false God, a triune God, and you're leading him to the ditch. And that's really what upsets me. And I just pray that if that explanation never sit well with you, then please just consider that you could be wrong. Go to God, ask God to reveal the truth to you, and truly seek God's truth. Reread all those scriptures that you were told and look at the context. Look at what they actually say versus what you were told they say. And see if maybe, just maybe, you're wrong. Until next time, I pray that God blesses you with the truth.